is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another video about Korea, and today's video is going to be the 10 things that I wish I knew before living in Seoul, South Korea. So if you're thinking about moving to Korea, you're thinking about studying abroad in Korea, maybe you're even thinking about just traveling to Korea and seeing how it is, then this is the perfect video for you. These are just all of the things that I wish I knew and that somebody had told me before living in Seoul, South Korea. So if this is something that you're interested in, then please keep on watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can join me and my little travel family. We'll be having new videos every Friday. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So just some quick background information about me. My name is Fiona. I lived in Korea in the fall of 2018 for 4 months. I actually studied abroad in Korea, but I decided not to live in the dorms just because I wanted more of like an authentic Korean lifestyle experience. So I actually lived in an Airbnb. So I really feel like for those 4 months, I really got a glimpse of kind of like the Korean lifestyle, what it's really like to live there. And there's just a lot of things that I wish I knew, things that I felt like nobody had really told me, or even when I was like Googling stuff or like YouTubing things, just things that weren't really mentioned. And so today I'm going to tell you all of those things. If you have a quick minute, please go and smash that like button. And without further ado, let's just jump right into tip number 1. So number 1 is that fruits and meats are very expensive in Korea. So fruits and meats are definitely more expensive in Korea than they are in the States. In Korea, the kind of prices for poultry go like this. They go like beef, chicken, and then pork. So if you want to go out, have a luxury experience, then beef is kind of more of a luxury experience in Korea than it is in the States. So maybe these are just some things that you want to note. And also fruits are really expensive in Korea. Apples are at least like $1 or $2 each. I remember bananas are super cheap in the States. Really, you could get like 6 or 7 bananas for like $1, maybe even $2. But definitely in Korea, bananas are like $1 each. So if you get a bundle, it's probably like a $6 bundle. So these are just kind of things to keep in mind, especially like as a fruit lover like myself. It's actually even cheaper to eat out sometimes than it is to like be cooking food in Korea, which is definitely a plus. Now the second tip, this one is about makeup. If you are any color darker than a fair, to be honest, I don't think that you will find either your foundation or concealer shade in Korea. So these are things that you definitely should bring. Even I couldn't find any shades, like the darkest shades in Korea were even too light for me. So I just wish someone had really told me to like buy one of my favorite foundations before moving there. In Korea, they're very into like the light skin, very fair skin things. Even if their skin color is like a little bit darker, they try to go lighter. I know in the States, we try to go a little bit darker just so that you have like a nice tan, you're looking glowy, stuff like that. But in Korea, that's definitely not the case. They just go lighter. So if you are anything maybe darker than me, just be prepared not to find your shade. So the third thing that I wish I knew before living abroad in Korea is the fact that winters there are so cold. When I tell you guys that it's so cold, it's just so cold. It's freezing, like you could feel it in your bones. My boyfriend came to visit me when I was living in Korea for Christmas. Visiting like during Christmas and New Year's, like it's a no-go. I would not visit during those times again. It's just super cold. It was hard to even like find the warmth, I guess, like go outside or like just find the energy just because it's so cold and crippling. Definitely bring a big jacket if you're thinking about living or moving to Korea. You're definitely gonna want that. That's one of the major things that you should bring. Number 4 is the fact that you don't need to tip. So tipping is such a big thing here in the States. I've worked as a waitress before, so I know how important like tipping is. Tipping is actually not necessary. So all of the prices that you see on the menu already include tax and tip. So if it says 12,000 won, that's what you have to pay in totality. And something else that I wish I knew regarding kind of like the food and restaurant thing is actually that when you are finished with your meal, what you're supposed to do is you don't ask the waitress or the waiter for your bill. You actually just go up to the register and then you pay there. The waitresses in Korea are kind of just there to bring you your food. They're not really there to, I would say, give you like really great service. They're kind of there to just serve you and give you like the stuff that you need to eat. Even in Korea, like there's a lot of things that are kind of like self-serve. Like there'll be banchan stations where you have to get up and go get your own banchan, or even the simple things like chopsticks and napkins, like those will already be on your table, just like a box full of them, just so you don't even have to ask the waitress. So that's why there's no tipping in Korea, and the way that you pay is you finish your meal and stand up, you go up there and you pay. These are things that I wish I knew before going to Korea. I remember I looked so stupid like just asking them for a check, just because I really didn't understand, and I felt like doing my research, these were just things that I didn't really know. But now I'm telling you so that you know. So the fifth thing that I wish I knew before studying abroad in Korea is that a lot of places in Korea is very, very credit card like oriented. So what I mean by this is that almost everywhere I went in Korea took a credit card. Like they're very into kind of cashless transactions. I remember even like vendors, food vendors on the streets, even like small little shops, even like the smallest coffee shops, any restaurants, stuff like that, they all will take your credit card. And there's usually no minimum on that credit card, so that's super, super great. What I really recommend is getting a credit card with no foreign transaction fees. That is what I got. And then it's just super easy. Like I had a phone case on my phone that would just slide out and have my credit card there. So all I had to bring really around was just my phone, and I would have my credit card, and that was it. Like I never really carried cash, just because I would have to take it out and then exchange it and stuff. So yeah, that's just something that you should know. Definitely bring a no foreign transaction fee credit card, and happy spending. So the sixth thing that I wish I knew before living in Korea is the T-money cards. So if you don't know what the T-money cards are, they are actually like your MTA Metro cards, but it's really cool and cute actually the way that they do it in Korea. So what you do is you actually go to like any of the convenience stores. So they're everywhere, definitely like GS25, things like that. You can find them at the airport, you can find them like on the streets. There's so many convenience stores. You can buy these cards anywhere. There's actually different versions of each card, and there's like just really cute cards in general. Hold on, let me focus this. This is what the card looks like. So basically what it is you have this card, and what you do is you fill up this card kind of like an MTA, a regular MTA card. You fill it up with money. You can fill it up at any of the convenience stores. So you can go up to him, give him $10, and he will take the $10 and fill it into your card. And then what you do is you take the train or the bus with this card. When you walk into, let's say, the bus, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to scan when you get on the bus, and then you scan when you get off of the bus. So sometimes the prices vary depending on like how far of a distance that you went. The fares are kind of measured by a base price, and then if you went over or you went a little bit further, then they charge you more. So same goes for the subway. When you enter the subway, you scan the card, you go through the terminal. When you exit, you also scan it, and then depending on if you went a little bit further than like the base price, then they'll charge you a little bit more. But this is the T-money card. I definitely wish someone had told me just the basics on how to fill it and use it on the train or the bus. But now I'm telling you, so you know. And the seventh thing that I wish I knew before living in Korea is kind of about their beauty standards. So the beauty standards in Korea, guys, is super high. It's very transparent that like beauty and skincare, stuff like that, is super important to them as a country. And you can just tell by the way that there's so many like cosmetic and skincare stores everywhere. Like it gets to the point where you can't even not focus on your skin or like your makeup or beauty or whatever, just because there's so many stores that are like subliminally telling you so many new cosmetic things, so many things for your skin. An example of this would actually be when I went to Korea University, when I studied abroad, there was actually like 3 or 4 skincare stores in the university, which is so crazy if you really think about it. Like if you go to college in the States, like you're definitely not gonna have a skincare store in your university, let alone like 2 or 3 of them just to have like variety. But that was something that they had. So I'm just gonna tell you right now that like every single block that you will walk, there will probably be at least 1 or 2 skincare stores there. So Korea is actually the cosmetic surgery capital of the world. So there's actually this street in like Gangnam, which is like a very expensive and like nice part of Korea. And the entire block is just surgeries and cosmetics, like breast augmentation, nose job, eyelid surgery, stuff like that. They're all just cosmetic procedures. It's just a whole block of just huge companies that are doing it and that are doing procedures procedures. So just wanted to let you know that like the environment, I don't want to say that it's toxic. I personally don't find it toxic, only because I have an interest in beauty and skincare, but there is definitely a lot of pressure, I would say, to always be looking good, always be looking nice, and it's kind of like if you don't look good, there's no reason for it because there's all of these stores that are here to help you look your best. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. In Korea though, there is a very one standard beauty of like small nose, pale skin, big eyes, like stuff like that. And it can make you feel a little bit insecure sometimes, to be honest, living there. But just don't let it get into your head. Just know that you are beautiful too, even if you don't look like the Korean beauty standard. Okay, and the 8th thing that I wish I knew before living in Korea is their drinking culture. So when I tell you that the drinking culture is real, guys, it is real. Drinking is like a way that Koreans really use to bond with a lot of people. So even if it's like a work environment, even if it's a school environment, even if it's just like a friendly social environment, there will more or less always be soju involved. Like even if you're eating at a restaurant, people are always drinking. In fact, it's not even uncommon to see like people super drunk on the streets. Like I've seen girls in convenience stores before that are just like so wasted, super wasted, like they can barely stand and stuff. Or like I've actually seen people like pass out on the street just because like they're so drunk. Don't be alarmed, to be honest. Like these things are honestly like super common in Korea. They even have like hangover pills and hangover drinks just because the drinking culture there is so intense. But honestly, I found the drinking culture really fun. I found the clubbing really fun. I found just drinking like even on Tuesday night for like fun. I found that like really fun. Soju is so cheap. Some people said it's cheaper than water, but let me tell you the truth. It's not cheaper than water there, but it's cheaper than like Evian water. Does that make sense? It's like $1.50 a bottle. It's only like $3 or $4 at the restaurants too, even if you're drinking and eating. So there's really kind of no excuse not to drink. But yeah, just want to let you know that the drinking culture there is pretty intense. So just prepare for it and honestly embrace it. And yeah, I hope you love it. So the 9th thing that I wish I knew, and this is kind of like a big one that I wish I knew, is the fact that Google Maps does not really work in Korea. Like it might work on the big kind of streets, but definitely if you're living in Korea, you know that Google Maps is not the way. So what you're supposed to do instead is actually download either Naver Maps or Kakao Map. And honestly, this is going to be a little bit of a struggle. To use those maps, you kind of have to know Korean. So what you're supposed to do is, let's say the cafe is called Happy Cafe. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go on Google translate Happy Cafe into Korean, and then put that Korean into Naver Maps or Kakao Map. That's kind of the only way that it works sometimes, and that will be the most effective and accurate way that you can get to your location. I know this is so complicated, honestly, like nobody even told me these things. Like this is just kind of what I had to figure out from like the months that I lived there. But now I'm telling you, so hopefully it'll be easier for you to get around. Just know that you need to download Google Translate. And we are on the 10th thing that I wish I knew before living in Korea. This one might seem a little bit obvious, but I don't think that I really pieced it together, honestly, until I lived there. And it is the romantic culture in Korea. So I know if you watch K-dramas and stuff, you know that they're like a little bit dramatic, a little bit, I would say not super realistic. But once you get to Korea, like the love culture is super real. Everyone's kind of chasing this like love, I would say. They just have so many things that are geared towards love and like being in a couple, and like you'll see people on the subways that are just doing like OD PDA. They're just like on the subway platform, just like hugging each other, like almost grinding into each other, stuff like that. You'll see lots of couples with like matching outfits and lots of like couple goals things, and just things in general are very couple oriented. If you go to like super touristy spots, like Nansam Seoul Tower, that's like a big one. It's just very couple oriented. You're supposed to have a lover, and you're supposed to like write on a lock like your names and stuff, and you're supposed to like lock it there, and your love will be eternal. They say Paris is the most romantic country in the world, but honestly I think Korea is pretty romantic too. They really push this kind of like, you need to find a man, you need to find a boyfriend, you need to have a lover, or like life is better when you're in love. Just all these like little things that they kind of subliminally push onto you. It's okay if you're not in love in Korea, don't worry. Like I went to Namsan Seoul Tower twice by myself and I honestly didn't even feel that sad. So don't be sad if you don't have a boyfriend and you're living in Korea. It's gonna be okay. Don't really let society push you into falling into a relationship that's not for you, or just being coupled just to be coupled. Like you're an independent person, you got this. Okay, so those are all the things that I wish I knew before living in Korea. I hope that this was super helpful for you. Please comment down below which ones shocked you the most, number 1 to 10. If you're living in Korea, I'm super excited for you. I wish that I could move back to Korea one day. I honestly loved living there. I know the things that I told you might not make it sound like the best place, but these are just little things that I wish I knew before going. If you're interested, I made another video on the fun things I did while studying abroad in Korea. If you're living in Korea, I feel like all of those fun things will apply kind of to things that you want to do too. If this was helpful to you in any way, please go smash that like button and subscribe to my channel so you can join me and my little travel family. We'll be having new videos every Friday. I'd love to take any suggestions that you guys have. So if there's any videos that you guys really want to see, please just comment them down below and I will do my absolute best to try and make those videos for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now you guys know so much more about living in Korea, and hope that it's a little bit easier for you and your decision on moving there, living there, studying there, whatever it is. Thank you guys so much and see you guys next week.